friends, welcome to another episode of Killingly Public Library's craft video series. Today I'm going to make a bookmark and I'm going with our summer reading theme for this year. For summer 2025, we're doing Level Up at Your Library. And so it's kind of game themed. So I was looking for some crafts that might fit that very well. And so today we're going to make a bookmark using some cardstock scraps that I had. And I just, evened it up so that it looked like a bookmark. This is 2.5 inches wide and 5.5 inches long, but if you want a different size bookmark, make it whatever size you like. This just, like I said, happened to be some scrap cardstock that I had. I went with cardstock instead of just regular printer paper so that it would hold up a little better. It wasn't all floppy. You want it to have some stability. And I have some playing cards here from just an old deck that, was missing parts. And so that would be the thing to look for, find some games that don't have parts that are usable, like the playing cards. Maybe you want to make your bookmark with something else. Maybe a Monopoly game that the property cards are still kicking around, but the rest of the game is missing things so you can't quite play it. Or Clue, that's another game that has cards to it. So anything, you could even, use money. It doesn't matter, whatever you can scrounge up and find, work with. And it doesn't have to be game themed, just because that's where I'm going today with my craft. But I am going to start by rubbing some Mod Podge on the top of my cardstock and just covering it all. And if you don't have Mod Podge, you could use 1-to-1 ratio of a liquid white glue and water. Okay, my cardstock is covered in Mod Podge. You can tell because, see, it's kind of and I just need to wipe up this spot here a little bit. There we go. I got Mod Podge everywhere. All right, now we're just going to take the cards and kind of lay them haphazardly wherever you would like, and whatever you like. Like, I kind of like the Joker. He's kind of cool. So I'm going to maybe lay him, I think I would like him to be kind of more of a focal point. So I'm going to stick him kind of something like so. And you can stick them on however you like. And I like this. I'm going to continue just kind of sticking my cards on here, there, and everywhere. And I'll get back to you when I've got them all on. All right, I've stuck my cards onto my Mod Podge, onto the cardstock. I did trim this one off a little, as you can see, just because I wanted to cut, and rather than cut and waste a whole nother card, I just wanted to stick a little piece in there. So this is kind of the look I went with. And I'm going to trim off the excess around the back, and I may even take some of those pieces and glue them on to the front. I don't know, I'm just playing it by ear. But if I do, I'll need to put some Mod Podge down to adhere them. So let's take some scissors and just do some trimming. And if you go to the back, you can see where the white cardstock is and where you should be trimming. So that is what I have. And like I said, if I wanted to, I could stick some more pieces here or there if I'd like, but I kind of like the way it is. I don't think I want to mess around and add anything else, but if I wanted, I could use those scrap pieces for some other little craft. So now we're going to just take, and you could use a hole punch if you have a hole punch. I don't have a hole punch in my office, so I'm going to just kind of poke the scissors through where I think I would want to. I like the bookmarks that have little string tails. So I'm going to do a little hole now. I'm just going to poke it through kind of, well, that doesn't even look very centered. Okay. Just going to put it on the table so that I don't cut myself, and I'm just going to use the point of the scissors and kind of wiggle a little to get a hole through. And it did go through the playing card. Now I just got to get through the cardstock. There we go. It went through both of them. If you want, you could even cut it with your scissors if you're, you have fine enough scissors that you can make a hole. And it's not going to be perfect because I'm not using a hole punch. So there's my hole. And it might not be perfectly centered, but I don't care. And now I'm just going to cover the rest of this with a layer of Mod Podge to seal it. That's all. It's moving a bit on me, so it's not quite dry. I should have waited for it to dry, but it's the video. It takes too long. So I've applied the Mod Podge. It's still a little, damp, but we're going to continue on with adding some ribbon. You don't have to add ribbon if you don't want to. You don't have to make the hole and add ribbon, but I do like that about a bookmark, so it can be in the book and you can find where the page is that you've marked because the ribbon's sticking out. So I grabbed some, I wasn't sure which I wanted to go with. I have some 1/8 inch ribbon, and I also have some baker's twine because I think either one would look nice with the playing cards because of the red and the white. Even if I had used the ones with the blue background, I think the contrast would still be nice. I think I'll just go with the twine. So I'm just going to cut a little bit off here. Probably like so. I don't know that I made my hole quite big enough, but we'll see. I'm going to see if I can poke it through. I'm putting both ends through at the same time, so there's a loop here and both ends here, so that I am going to then bring both of my ends in through the loop and pull like so. So there's my bookmark. Now I chose only to do the front. Maybe you want to also cover the back. That's an option too. Maybe you don't want to use playing cards. You're going to use other game parts. That's totally fine. And I did not put Mod Podge on the back of my bookmark, but you certainly could do that if you want to seal it a little better. I just only sealed the front, but I may go back and seal the back just to do that after the video and let it dry. And let's see, what else? Well, I guess there's not much more to say then. I'd love to see what you create and come up with. You can share your finished projects with me at info@killinglypl.org. I'd love to see them. And thanks so much for joining me today, and I hope to see you in another one of our craft videos. Until then, have a great day.